Well, hello my lovelies, it's Murky Meg here. It's Tuesday the 16th of February and news hit yesterday that Harry and Meghan are set to do a tell-all, wide-ranging and intimate primetime TV interview that will cover everything from their royal exit to marriage and pregnancy with Oprah Winfrey. It's due to be scheduled on CBS on March the 7th. The interview, which is due to be recorded next week, allegedly will see Oprah Winfrey speak with Meghan about everything from stepping into life as a royal, marriage, motherhood, her philanthropic work, and how she's handling life under intense public pressure. Later, the two will then be joined by Harry himself as they speak out about their move to the USA and their future hopes and dreams for their expanding family. Let's just rewind there for just a moment, shall we? Meghan will be the first one in front of Oprah. She's going to be the majority of the interview with just her and Oprah. Who's the royal here? Who is the blood royal? Certainly doesn't look like Harry, does it? And then he will join the two. This is just so wrong. A press release for CBS said that Los Angeles, CBS announced today Oprah with Meghan and Harry, a CBS primetime special featuring Oprah Winfrey as she sits down with Prince Harry and Meghan, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, for an intimate conversation for an exclusive primetime special to air Sunday, the 7th of March, 8 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. ET/PT on the CBS television network. Winfrey will speak to Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, in a wide-ranging interview covering everything from stepping into life as a royal, marriage, motherhood, philanthropic work, and how she's handling life under the intense public pressure. Later, the two are joined by Prince Harry as they speak about their move to the United States and their future hopes and dreams for their expanding family. Now, it's widely speculated that they are going to be paid for this interview, and some have suggested, because she's supposed to be friends with both Meghan and Doria, that this won't be a normal hard-hitting fact interview. It will be a sycophantical, head-nodding one. Or will it? Will Oprah ask the hard-hitting questions or simply let Meghan spill the beans for all the juicy gossip? She was the one that arranged for Harry and Meghan to stay in Tyler Perry's mega mansion in LA, didn't she? You know, Oprah never really does anything without getting something in return. Will Oprah be expecting them to sing for their supper? And I'm trying to get my head around why Meghan is coming out first. Why not do it both together? It's a very weird situation. My only explanation is that she's the one that's going to be spilling the beans, and that rather than have Harry sat next to her, either looking all forlornly at her or nodding his head in agreement, it's just going to be on her head. She's the one that's going to be spilling the beans about the royal family. Because let's face it, that's exactly what Oprah Winfrey wants to hear. Gossip and titillation about the royal family. With her just being in front, it's just her and Oprah Winfrey, is that the way to exonerate Harry from not being part of this? It doesn't work like that. You are there within the building. You can stop this at any time. How comfortable is Harry going to be feeling if Meghan Markle does spill the beans about the royal family and everything she feels towards them, or how she feels that she was treated? Remember, this is a very one-sided interview. And I'm laughing slightly because when they originally left the royal family, on their manifesto website, didn't they say that they were looking forward to working with grassroots media, the journalists, the up-and-coming ones, the ones that have got their fingers on the pulse, not the massive multi-conglomerate media empires? Well, isn't that exactly what Harpo Productions and Oprah is all about? It's the total polar opposite of grassroots. Will it be a gentle chit-chat with friends just sitting down, chatting, shooting the breeze? I don't think so. That's not what Oprah's after. Time to pay the piper. Now, a lot of people are saying that they, as private citizens, have every right to be able to speak out and control the narrative when they want to. But you've got to remember that this is the woman that sued the Daily Mail, Associated newspapers for breaching privacy. Is she herself breaching her own privacy? And if she spills the bean on the royal family, is she breaching their privacy too? And people are saying that they are taking control of the information that they give out, much like the announcement of the second child photo. Well, that's all very well and good, but these two are so adamant about privacy. It was one of the reasons why they left the royal family. They wanted privacy, yet they are literally opening up themselves to a mass speculation and scrutiny, and all the world will be watching. Do you think that they are entitled to speak their side of the story when the royal family, which Harry and Meghan must be aware of, will know that they will never speak back because their motto is never explain, never complain? They can't retaliate back to whatever they say in this interview because that's just not the done thing. Whatever's said, be it good or bad, the royal family won't comment. And Harry and Meghan are well aware of this. But do Harry and Meghan have a right to free speech? And I'll say this again, what about the queens of the royal family's privacy? What will Meghan say about them? What will the royals think about this? This interview has the possibility of being incredibly toxic, and royal interviews have a history of going very wrong, and this will have a very global audience. Let's have a look at some of the previous royal interviews that have taken place. We all know of Duke of York, Prince Andrew sat down with Emily Matis, and she basically grilled him on the Epstein drama, didn't she? It was a terrible interview for Andrew, and he actually came off looking far worse afterwards than he did before. We all remember the laughable excuse of Pizza Express in Woking and the "I don't sweat" comment, don't we? Then there was Princess Diana's interview with Martin Bashir. It is by far the most famous of royal interviews. This was done in 1995, and it was where she declared the relationship with Prince Charles and said there were three of us in this marriage, so it was a bit crowded. This was supposedly the last straw for the Queen, who a month later instructed both Diana and Prince Charles to seek a divorce, which they ultimately did in 1996. This Oprah interview isn't the only royal that Oprah has actually spoken to. The Duchess of York, i.e. Sarah Ferguson, sat down with Winfrey herself in 2010 after she was left humiliated after the newspapers caught her in a sting offering to sell access to the Duke of York for £500,000. And of course, we've had Prince Charles himself sit down and talk with Jonathan Dimbleby. That was in 1986, where he had basically admitted that he committed adultery and admitted his marriage had broken down irretrievably. That's just a few of the royal interviews that have taken place. There has been obviously others, but these four were the most shocking of all. All went down in history as absolute flops, basically, and everybody shook their head. I mean, the Diana one really was mind-blowing, and it just lifted the lid. She knew exactly what she was doing. Diana was very, very clever, and she knew how to work the media and played that victim card very heavily. And I believe that is exactly what Meghan intends to do, play the victim card. She did it in South Africa with the whole, thanks for asking. Not many people ask if I'm okay, with the doe eyes blinking. It's going to be a victim fest. I think the reason why everybody has their head in their hands going, oh my God, can it get any worse, is because their demands on privacy doesn't really play well in the respect of a 90-minute sit-down, tell-all interview with Oprah. And it's bound to contain several indiscretions and potential embarrassments to the Queen and the senior royals. Oprah will undoubtedly ask about William and Kate. And if Harry's not sitting by her side at that point, anything could happen. This isn't just someone who's left a job. It's not just a disgruntled employee. It's family. This is Harry's family. Are they willing to throw the whole family under the bus? Are they capable? The palace have come out and basically said this: the Duke and Duchess are no longer working members of the royal family, and therefore any discussions they take with regards to media comments are a matter for them. As non-working members of the royal family, they are under no obligation to inform the royal household of such plans. But you've got to wonder, behind palace walls, what are they really talking about? The interview will deal with the period of Harry and Meghan being senior royals. What will they say about it? How will it affect the royals themselves? And how do you think this is going to play out? The majority of the audience are after only one thing: dirt on the royal family. Why they left the royal family. What caused them to leave. They're not interested in the whole privacy element because we know that's a smokescreen. They want to know the ins and outs of why they left, the reasons why they left. What do you think would be the worst things that Harry and Meghan could bring up? I'm just going to say Meghan at this point because he won't be at her side when they were talking about the royal family at all. I don't think he wants to have any part in that, and I think that is a loophole that they have sat down together and worked out. If I say it and you're not by my side, that's okay. You're not culpable. But the fact is you're married and you're talking about his family. What's the worst thing that Meghan could bring up about the royal family that could do the most damage? I think relations with the Cambridges could be very disastrous, and of course with the Queen. Maybe Oprah is going to grill her on what happened with Tiaragate. Why were they so unhappy? And you've got to remember, like I said before, the royals can't retaliate. So whatever they say in this interview, it's just going to be left there to fester and to everybody to dissect it. Will this be the straw that breaks the camel's back finally? Let's face it, we all knew that it would happen. As soon as we saw Oprah at that wedding, we knew that ultimately she would get this interview. Oprah was handed a pew right opposite the royal family at Harry and Meghan's wedding, despite only having met Meghan once. What family members did Meghan herself invite? Doria is the only one that springs to mind, but Oprah got the golden seats, didn't she? Do you think if Meghan hadn't married Harry, she would ever get to sit down with Oprah? Of course not. The only reason this is happening is because of the royal connection. And I truly believe that this was Meghan's plan all along, and it's now coming to fruition. She sat down in front of Oprah, spilling her guts on how such a victim she was and how I wasn't welcomed and they're such big meanies. That's how I intend it to go. That's how I feel it will go. You know, through all of this, I've always had that little slim hope that there's somewhere deep inside the old Harry, just a slither, a glimpse of it is still there. Well, that's now shattered. If he can allow this to happen, I have lost every single respect I ever had for him, which quite frankly was only a little bit. But he's allowing this, and this will ultimately hurt his family. And news reports are all about today saying there is now no way back. And it's going to be very interesting if he comes back this summer, and it's a big if now. What will actually happen? How on earth can the royal family, if she goes and spills her guts about them, how can they possibly face him, knowing that he allowed it to happen because, quite frankly, he joined her on the sofa? I'm ashamed that he's British, I really am. So I would love to know your thoughts on this huge news. Do you think she will spill the beans and play the victim, and everything that she hasn't been able to say will now come out in the open? What do you think she will say, most importantly? Do you think that it's her right to be able to do so under the guise of free speech? Do you think that Harry is completely out of his brains to be able to go on with this, to sit by her side? I I'm gobsmacked. No, I'm not really, because they are the dastardly duo and nothing that they do ever really shocks me anymore. It's just head in hands going, oh God, what now? I'd love to know your thoughts. Will you be watching? I guess I'm going to have to, really, aren't I? Oh, it's going to be South Africa all over again, isn't it? But times 100. As always, I would love to know your thoughts. Thank you very much for watching. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, hit the notification bell, and also that like button. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank all of my followers for all the tips and all the emails, DMs that everybody sends to me. It really is greatly appreciated. So thank you very much for watching once again.